Hello, my friends. It's Gabriel with The Last Huntsman Outdoors here. Just kind of got another little topic to talk about. Out here hiking, got the little mini-me out here with me. And, it got me thinking about a topic that I don't think is often discussed enough, especially in the, preparedness, bushcraft type of community. And I'm going to call it the next gen preppers. So, me being in the circles that I am in, I see a lot of guys that they themselves are fairly squared away, but yet their kids are very far from being squared away. Now, granted, nobody expects a kid to fully comprehend and fully grasp everything as an adult. However, we have to be kind of prepared for if things may take longer. Because I think we have this, and I've fallen for this myself, is we all kind of have the same ideology that like SHTF or tribulations or whatever is just right around the corner at any moment, and it's gonna happen. And the truth of the matter is we have no freaking clue. So, for all I know, things might drag out a little longer. Things might be, another 20 years from now. Things might not even be in my lifetime, for all I know. I don't feel like that's going to be the case, but, you never know, right? And so, not only preparing for a future generation, but also preparing for your kids and or grandkids to maybe have to potentially take the reins might be something that more people need to start considering. It's kind of like I said, I've done some training courses, and here I am training with 40, 50, 60-year-old guys and gals, and yet I'm watching their 18, 19, 20-year-old kids standing on the sidelines. And I'm kind of like, okay, why aren't they out here training? Well, they've never held a gun. They've never been out hunting. They never even tried doing anything with a knife. And it's kind of like, they're a grown-ass person at that point. And, I think some people has overly coddled their kids to their own detriment. It's 35 degrees out here, and I got my not even 2-year-old son out here with me. And because, I want him to be raised in a way that he's not just looking at a screen and playing Minecraft and dinking on social media all day long. And so I call him the next generation militant Christian goat farmer. Put your own kind of variant onto that. But I think people need to start thinking about that, because this SHTF, I think a lot of people has, like I said earlier, kind of has this fantasy that it might just be like this all of a sudden cataclysmic thing. And I do think that there's going to be like a mass culminating event. But the powers that be, I think they're Nephilim behind the scenes. But, that's an entirely different topic. They are seemingly to try to drag this thing out as long as possible. And I think that's kind of a little side topic I'll kind of bring into this. And, you know, people don't really care if I get all biblical here, but I don't really care. There's other channels you can go to if you want to just watch doom porn and not really get much information. But I think something that we don't really think about as a people is the powers that be, Satan, whatever, they're operating on a multi-thousand year timeline. And so if they have to drag things out a little bit to convince one generation at a time of something that's false, or to believe in a ideology, that's what they'll do. And I think a lot of people don't really comprehend that because we're living one lifetime at a time. So it's just something to think about. Now back to the topic, you know, we don't know when or if the collapse of the empire is going to happen. So it is who of you to start potentially raising your kids to potentially be dragon slayers in a time of dragon, so to speak. And to start raising them in a way that they're not so soft and they're not so incompetent. You know, start teaching them skills, you know, how to take care of livestock, or get them out in the woods, or get them trying a knife for the first time, or get them shooting and stuff. Because that 18, 19-year-old kid that's done nothing but play Minecraft, you know, they're going to, at a certain point, be held accountable as an adult, because they are an adult at that point. And so, you know, it's just something to think about. It's just like I just recently watched that movie Homestead. Overall, decent movie. There was a couple things I could pick apart. I thought about doing a more in-depth video, but I feel like there's other YouTubers that's already kind of been doing that. But one thing I kind of noticed was one of the main characters had, you know, 17, 18-year-old son, and he like been deer hunting one time or something. And it's like, okay, how the hell are you, quote, the special forces dude, and yet never given your son any kind of realistic force-on-force type of firearms training? You know, just something to kind of think about. But kind of enough of this little rant. Oh, as a matter of fact, okay, let's kind of delve into something else here. So something else I've been seeing a lot of people doing is I see that they'll complain like, oh, my kid's basically a gay communist. Okay, why did you send him to the public school? Well, I needed to, you know, work a full-time job with extra overtime hours, blah, 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 and I needed my wife to work a full-time job so, you know, we could buy this brand new truck and this brand new car and blah, 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 and all that good stuff. It's like, okay, so you basically traded your kids for a brand new truck and a brand new car. You know, at a certain point, you kind of have to recognize that your kids and their future is worth more than material goods. And if you have to be just a single man on an income with a stay-at-home wife so your kids don't turn into gay communists going in through the public indoctrination centers, then you might have to come to terms with that and cut back on things a little bit. Maybe if that even means multi-generational households. You know, this current system that we have is not the way that humanity has worked for thousands and thousands of years. multi-generational households was kind of the normal thing for most of humanity. The whole idea of even a, quote, public school, even that was just, within the last 150 years. So people getting fixated on sending their kids to these just satanic systems, you might have to reevaluate things if you want your kids to actually be decent human beings later on in life. And, kind of something to spin off of that too, is you might also have to start, as the man of the household, and if you're, a single mom, then you might have to take up these reins, but you are in control of what comes into your household as well, including what is on the television. So, for me in my household, I don't allow the devil mouse in my household, aka Disney. I don't allow that in my household. Why? Because they push underlying CP stuff, and it's all a bunch of Masonic, satanic, subliminal messaging and crap. So there won't be any devil mouse in my household. I also am going to be fairly strict on who my kids hang out with. There's kind of a saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. If you let your kids hang out with a bunch of hoodlums or druggies, well, they're probably going to turn into a hoodlum druggie themselves. And so, just kind of something to consider is, this perpetual long-term battle that we're in. It might be a multi-generational thing. The SHTF, tribulations, whatever you want to call it, might be farther away than what we might think. And so, even if it is in your own lifetime, it would be nice to have a capable ally that is able-bodied, that is your own kids, than a liability that is your own kids. So, just something to think about. As always, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.